Last game week, every player that I recommended for each position returned. Goalkeeper, Alisson, 6 points. Defender, Trent, 15 points. Midfielder, Eze, 10 points. And forward, Isak, 7 points. Stick around to see who I'm going to suggest this game week. I think it's finally time to jump off triple Arsenal defence. That's because Timber's suspended. Then they've got Spurs next game week. So it will probably be Timber that exits the door. In those 8 game weeks, I can say it successfully paid off. I got 4 clean sheets, which is 50% of the game weeks. And don't forget that nearly every team has less than 50% clean sheet odds every game week. And if you extrapolated that across a full season, that would be 19 clean sheets, which would get the Golden Glove most seasons. To top it off, over the course of those 8 matches, I also got 4 attacking returns from Gabriel and Timber combined, mostly Gabriel. I also got 8 bonus points as well, which was actually mostly from Timber. I don't mind playing double Arsenal defence this game week. Brighton away is not the easiest of fixtures, but Arsenal have the best underlying stats in defence so far this season, so there's not a bad chance of a clean sheet there. Vandenberg is just a placeholder in my first 11 until I've replaced Timber. That defender will come into the first team, and Vandenberg will probably be the first on my bench. He'll definitely be the first defender on my bench. I say that because Southampton's an easy fixture, but then at the same time Brentford don't have the strongest of defences, and that's why I don't feel comfortable playing Vandenberg this game week. I do feel comfortable playing Trent this game week. He's got that attacking threat, and Liverpool have got the second best underlying stats in defence in the league this season. United at home is not a bad fixture right now. I know they've got Bruno back in attack, but I wouldn't say that they've got a strong attack, and the defence is leaking goals recently. Overall, I'd say they've got a pretty average defence throughout the whole season, especially if you look at the numbers, but I don't think it's a bad fixture. Trent got a clean sheet and a goal last game week. He has been returning recently, he's been paying off for his decent price tag, and I don't think this is a bad game week for it again. On the other side of the pitch is Martinez, and Liverpool at Anfield is a very difficult fixture. Like I just mentioned, United are leaking goals recently. He won't be coming anywhere near my first team. He'll be sat behind Vandenberg on the bench. So completing the bench, just like Timber, Rodgers has also been suspended. It is very unfortunate that it's against Leicester at home. I've been saying it for game weeks on end, but he's finally got that suspension, and it's in the one match I didn't want him to. At least he got a goal and assist for me last game week. And my goalkeeper on the bench is Fabianski. Whilst this video has been recorded, I'm not sure if he's available to play or not. Either way, I won't be playing him against City away. I know City aren't really in form, but they've still got a decent attack, and West Ham have a poor defence, and Raya is definitely going to play over him against Brighton away. So I've got 3 players on the bench who look like they're not going to play. Fabianski, I'm not going to touch. Rodgers, who I might possibly sell, but I wouldn't mind keeping him for the squad structure. And then when it comes to Timber, he's almost certainly going to go. The 2 replacements that I'm currently considering for Timber are Robertson and Castagna. Now I would prefer Robertson overall. He's got 7 fixtures in the next 6 game weeks. Now the double in game week 24 is provisional. It could go into game week 25, but that does make Liverpool the most favourable defence to target in the whole league. Now if I do get Robertson as my 3rd Liverpool player on top of Trent and Salah, then I am blocking that assistant manager chip, and I might possibly want to go for Slot. That would allow me to chase the upside of Ipswich, Bournemouth, Everton and Wolves, so there's a high chance I'm not going to get Robertson this game week. I'd say there's a decent chance that I'm probably going to get Castagna, especially for the next few game weeks. I might possibly bench him in game week 24 though. Not only have Fulham got favourable defensive fixtures, the defence is pretty solid as well, the 5th for expected goals conceded in the whole league, and Castagna provides that attacking threat too. So on my recommendations for defenders, if you've not already got at least 2 Liverpool players, I would go for Trent if you can afford him. If you already own at least 2 Liverpool players, then just go with Castagna like I said earlier. The same applies to the goalkeeper position. If you've not already got at least 2 Liverpool players, Alisson's by far the best goalkeeper to bring in. He's 0.2 mil less than Raya. I would prefer to have him in my team, but I'm not blocking that assistant manager slot. If you can't afford Alisson, or it would block the 3rd Liverpool slot, then Pickford is still a very good option to cover that double. He is only 5 mil, and you might be questioning why I'd say Pickford over Leno if I've said Castagna over an Everton defender. That's because Castagna provides that attacking threat that no Everton defenders provide. But if you want to go cheaper, and you want to go for an Everton defender, Mikalenko's only 4.3 mil, and you can put him on the bench and rotate him, but don't expect to play much before game week 24. If you can't afford Pickford, or you don't want to invest that £500,000 on a goalkeeper, you could go for a budget option, but there aren't any good ones available. Henderson's alright from Palace, but it is Chelsea at home this game week. Moving on to midfield, I brought Eze and Sarr in last game week. Eze got a 10 pointer and Sarr blanked. Eze did cover both of them, so I'm quite happy with the outcome overall. It's Chelsea at home this game week, and I'd say that's the most difficult fixture for quite a while. I did target those Palace players for those favourable fixtures, and I am going to of course keep them for that long run. Playing in the same fixture is Parma. Luckily enough, he won't clash with the Palace players because it's two sets of attackers. The worst that's going to happen is, if I get an attack in return, I'd lose that clean sheet point, which is only 1 point. For the first time in quite a while, Parma doesn't feature in my best captain video. Now Salah's got United at home, which I'd argue right now is a slightly easier fixture than Palace away. That's from an attacking perspective anyway. You've also got Haaland as an option against West Ham at home, and Watkins as an option against Leicester at home. It is tight between the top two this game week. Spoiler alert, Salah is in the top two, but I'm not going to spoil who the best captain is this game week. I don't own Haaland, and I don't own Watkins, so I'm going to captain Salah anyway, but I'm not going to spoil the best captain video. It might be Salah, it might not be. Make sure you watch it after this if you've not already. Up front I've got Jackson, and I managed to avoid the 5 yellow card suspension. Sometimes I wish it did happen though, because he did see reduced minutes, especially in the last match where he only played just over half an hour, and unfortunately that was against Ipswich. Nevertheless, his underlying stats are promising. Palace away this game week, then Bournemouth at home, Wolves at home. I am going to keep him for those fixtures. I am going to bang on about Rodgers' suspension again, because that forces Pedro to play against Arsenal at home. He'd be sat on the bench, and Rodgers would be playing against Leicester at home. But at least I went for 8 playing attackers on the wild card. It's perfect for game weeks like this. Whilst keeping Rodgers would maintain the squad structure, he's technically got a blank game week, Everton away which is difficult from an attacking perspective, and then Arsenal away which is very difficult from an attacking perspective. I might still sell him. If I do sell him, as part of a double transfer and the money in the bank, I just have enough money for Gordon. Newcastle have got favourable attacking fixtures, and I did recommend Gordon a few game weeks ago. He's returned every game week since then. If I was recommending a midfielder what most people don't have, I would recommend Eze over Gordon. It's just that I already own Eze and I don't own Gordon, but I did bring in Eze last game week. I put my money where my mouth was, and he got a double-digit haul. The reason I prefer Eze is because his minutes are slightly more secure, and whilst he's not nailed on penalty duties, and he's not necessarily likely to take penalties, there's a higher chance that he'll take them over Gordon. The forward I'm going to recommend, I started recommending a couple of months ago, and he's done very well since then. He's been the best pound for pound forward in the game, and I still think he will continue to be. That's Isak against Spurs away. As we've seen recently, especially against Liverpool a couple of game weeks ago, that's not a difficult fixture right now. That's because Spurs have got defensive injuries. It looks like they're going to be without Romero, Van der Ven, Vicario, and now Udogie as well. That plays into Isak's hands perfectly. So in summary, the transfers are probably going to be Timber to Castagna. I'll also consider Rodgers to Gordon. Make sure you follow me on Twitter, formerly known as X. I'll get a team reveal posted on there before the deadline. If you've not already watched it, I've published a best captain video, and make sure you subscribe so you don't miss any future videos like this.